One of the biggest stars in U.S. women's soccer right now is in the spotlight over a heated contract negotiation. Trinity Rodman has led the Washington Spirit to the NWSL finals in the past 2 years. She's also an Olympic gold medalist. The Spirit reportedly offered her a new 4-year deal worth more than $1 million per year. But the league rejected it, saying it violates the salary cap. The Players Union has filed a grievance claiming that rejecting the contract violates its agreement with the league. We asked Commissioner Jessica Berman about the salary standoff before the NWSL finals.
We're going to fight for Trinity. We hope she's going to be playing in our league next season.
Do you think the money is fair right now for the players?
I think that we made a decision as a league to build this as a business and not as a charity. So that means that we have to make sure that we're growing the business at the same time that we're raising the salary cap. And we've actually quadrupled our salary cap in the last 3 seasons.
We're now joined by Trinity Rodman's agent, Mike Senkowski, to help us unpack all of this. Hey, good morning, Mike. How are you doing?
Good afternoon from Madrid. Good morning to you, man. Good
from Madrid. You are living the dream, man. I might have to meet you there during the commercial break. But let's talk about what's going on right now. So the reports are that she was offered a 4-year deal worth more than $1 million per, which basically quadruples her salary. What can you tell us about the Washington Spirit's offer?
Yeah, look, we worked really hard to put together an agreement that we felt complied with the CBA. Would keep Trinity in the league for the foreseeable future. Obviously, we're disappointed. You know, when we pressed the league office for a response and as to the reasoning as to why they would reject it, as to which rule it violated, the answer is, you know, there isn't any rule that it violated. It's against the spirit of the rules. And as you may or may not know, there is no maximum salary within the collective bargaining agreement of the NWSL. So if that ever became too much of a burden on the salary cap, teams can do things to fit players within the cap, right? One can be restructuring the deal, like you did with the Detroit Lions back in 2013.
Yeah.
You know, you can certainly, in soccer, in the global game of football soccer, players get sold for transfer fees, and that's something you can do. And then lastly, you know, within the collective bargaining agreement, and if it came to this, there's a buyout provision that allows every team to buy out 1 player a year, and it doesn't count against the salary cap.
Could something like this drive Trinity overseas if we can't land this plane?
Look, with no certain way to get her fair market value within the NWSL, naturally that forces you and encourages you to look elsewhere, right? I can tell you she has greater value than the deal she signed with the Spirit that was rejected in Europe. She even has a greater deal within the U.S. in another league.
Oh, wow.
So
there's money on the table elsewhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, you know, we're talking business, and as you mentioned, I've been through this a few times over. You know, my time in the league, I signed 3 separate contracts. It would have absolutely gutted me if my agent said, we have a great deal for you. It is going to give you what you feel like your value is, but the bad news is the league has rejected it. That would blow my mind. I don't know how I would feel about that as a player in the NFL. How is Trinity feeling?
You know, she's disappointed, right? She wanted to go back and play in D.C. in front of the fans, continue to work with Michelle Kang, and be a part of the league, right? You know, the one thing I can say that's a little bit different from maybe your experience is the game of global soccer football has leagues all around the world, right? And so if you get rejected in one league, you can certainly go somewhere else, right?
And you mentioned that there is money on the table elsewhere, but I'm sure the conversations are still going on with the NWSL and the Washington Spirit. Is she willing to leave that other money on the table if you can work out a deal for her in the NWSL?
We'll see how this process evolves over these next weeks or so. The biggest challenge, Nate, is they don't have a certain way at the moment to pay her fair market value, right? And we thought we had a very good way to do it that complied with the collective bargaining agreement, which is why, you know, we are where we are here now.
I hear you on that, Mike. All right, Mike Senkowski, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course.